With the Ozil controversy set to come to an end, what's in sight for top players in the transfer market? 31 deadline is around the corner. Which player will be moving? Which player will be staying back in your club side? We'll be giving you all the 4-on-1 on this show on Sport Pizza, where you get the absolute best in the ever exciting world of sport. My name is Brownson and Kunle. Let's take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll unleash the show in full. Welcome back. We had a beautiful time of sports all through last week. Of course, it spans through this week as we gradually count down to the resumption of the UEFA Champions League. We start in February, a few weeks away from now. And of course, there have been talks about who will win this season's Champions League. And in England, it is absolutely buzzing. The two Manchester teams are slugging it out for a chance to be the 2020-2021 champions in the English Premier League. It's really cracking. And of course, last weekend, we saw how Juventus fell like a pack. Well, I say pack of salt. But it was a beautiful game. Inter Milan showing that they've got the zeal. AC Milan also playing from all their muscles. They want to win the league. It's been quite long, but Kunle Philip joins me at this time, and together we'll be letting you know everything happening in sports at this time. Kunle, good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Brownson and Kunle. It's good to be back to talk sports, and just like you've highlighted everything exciting. Event unfolded last week, and of course, we saw games in the EPL, the Spanish La Liga, and Italian Serie A taking center stages. And I'm so excited, Brownson, about the fact that the NPFL is going on smoothly. And we witnessed match the 5 fixtures and the result, and it was really very exciting. And you could see that there was no away record recorded. I think I'm particular about a team, Habia Warriors. The coach has been given an ultimatum to win their next 3 games, and then this didn't see light of the day. We wait to see how things will pan out, and it's really getting exciting in the Nigerian Professional Football League.
That's what it is, Kunle, and the Nigerian Professional Football Leagues always give us something to talk about. Now let's start the show in England. Now, Mesut Ozil was signed from Real Madrid for, of course, a huge sum of money, and of course had a good spell at Arsenal. But his last days in Arsenal wasn't very good, Kunle, and particularly at some point where Arsenal were at their deepest, you would think that Mesut Ozil will be called upon to play. But we didn't get to see that happening. And he's in Turkey right now, and I think Fenerbahce would be a good place for him. But quickly, let's talk about the controversy, of Ozil. Were you pleased with the way the young man was treated in his last days at Arsenal?
I think I wasn't impressed with the way he was treated. He should have been given a chance. I think that since Mikel Arteta became the coach of Arsenal, he wasn't favorably disposed towards having Ozil play in his team, which for me was absolutely surprising. It was a turbulent time for the man. And then, for a player who has been there for 8 years, and one would have expected, and at the point in time when Arsenal were struggling, one would have expected them to put him in, when they lacked creativity in the middle of the pack. One would have expected them to bring him to fall so that he can possibly see how they can change the fortunes of the club. But Arteta felt he didn't need him at this time. And Brownson, one thing that really made me feel bad is the fact that they are saying the team from Fenerbahce must buy him they are outrightly, and they are not going to be a part of the wages he'll be earning on a weekly basis. And I'm surprised at the way he's treated, and I don't think Mesut Ozil he's got attitude problem, and even some players who've got attitude problems have not been treated.
As a matter of fact, most people have said it's political. Don't forget, Mesut Ozil roots is Turkish. Okay. And so they try to link some political thing, some investment. Now, not even the club, not even the coach. Some investors are saying, okay, we don't want XYZ around XYZ, all those things. So I think that's the thing that's really affected Ozil.
If that is part of it, I wasn't looking at things from that perspective. I felt that some coaches, when they are brought to full, they look at the players they feel that can get them the results that they desire. So that's why I feel that Teta felt that Mesut Ozil doesn't fit into his style and into his future and style of play. So, but when you talk about politics, I hate meddling politics with sports. That will not be good enough if that is exactly what actually transpired. But for Ozil, it's a good way to go. He's back to his original nation. Just like you said,
anyway, he's a German national.
The German national, but of course of Turkish origin. I wish him all the best. I know that Ozil has got great potentials. He's a great player. Back in the days when he was playing straight with Manchester, with Real Madrid, they had to plead, they had to do everything possible to ensure that they bring him into the Arsenal fold. So I think that he might still have some of those things up his sleeves, but wait to see how things will pan out.
Yeah.
For the national team, I don't think Mesut Ozil.
So he's done. He's done with national team.
Yes,
he's done with national team. That's settled. But it's sad how event of things turned against the young man. I mean, Ozil, one of the most talked about, very talented midfielders.
With Sami Khedira.
It was. But I mean, these things happen in life sometimes. Now, last weekend we saw a beautiful game of football. Now, Liverpool look like they just might not defend their title with the way they are playing. They've dropped points, and United right now are sitting 3 points ahead of every other team. Now, the other team in Manchester also looks very good with 2 games in hand. They look like they have all it takes to fight for the title. Kunle, is it going to be a season of the Manchesters?
Well, Brownson, you remember I spoke about the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not as bad as everyone has thought. Back then, he's beginning to prove his mettle.
He's learning on the job.
It's not. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not a learner. He has been into coaching for quite some time. And you will say he has not coached a big team in the mood of Manchester United before now. Then he's really settling and churning out the result. I think I was really impressed with the way Manchester United played last week. If not for the fact the brilliance of Alisson, probably the man that you don't like will have gotten that goal. I will have gotten a very important goal that will probably have won Manchester United that goal. Talking about that game, talking about Paul Pogba.
So for United and City, do you think the league is about both of them this season?
No, I think it's not just about them. It's about Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool are also in contention. Let's not forget Leicester City. Though Leicester has been struggling, probably they win games today. They have been absolutely inconsistent. But one thing I noticed, Brownson, this season is the fact that look at Liverpool are suffering. They're having challenges. If you look at the game last week, they didn't have any major central defender in that team. They had to draft in midfielders to actually fit into that position, and there's been a bit of struggle in the team right now. It's not like last season we had Liverpool convincingly beating other teams. They were consistent almost all through. I think it was towards the end of the season that they lost a game to Arsenal. But this season, Liverpool have been struggling. Manchester City, 3 seasons ago, were actually consistent. They won the games convincingly,
and they've gone back. They've gone back to winning ways. I mean, I think they've won their last 4 games.
They've won. Yeah, they've been churning out wins in the last four games. But what I'm trying to say, Brownson, is that all the teams, they've not been any team that's been they've been so consistent this season. So I think the league might just be going to any of the teams. It's not going to be like probably we can say Manchester United are going to win, or probably Liverpool are going to win, or Manchester City are going to win. But it's going to be a big battle between the 3 teams. Probably Leicester will actually compete, but any of these 3 teams can win it. That's what
that was looked like. But for the United teams, let's talk a bit about the Manchester teams. Look like, in my opinion, it might just be between United or Manchester City. Early days though, but that's what it's looking like. Now in Germany, something big happened over the weekend where Bayern Munich Robert Lewandowski set another Bundesliga scoring record as he scored 21 goals in 16 games. Now, that's a massive record. And of course, he has eclipsed someone. Kunle, give us details.
Yes, he has eclipsed the record of Müller, the record set around in 1973. And he is really on the verge of also equaling and eclipsing the record set by the same player over 40 years ago, where he scored 40 goals in a season. And when you have, a player scoring already 21 goals in 16 games, and the season hasn't ended yet, it shows that he has what it takes to score as many as 40 goals. Who else? What other player would do that? In Europe right now, even all over the world, if not for a player in the mode of Robert Lewandowski. He's got what it takes. He's in the form of his life, and I think that he is the hottest striker right now that we have in the whole world.
Back 2 seasons ago, people would say Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi could have broken such record, but they've done well as footballers. You can't take it away from them. But Lewandowski right now with Bayern Munich, with the level of supply he's getting from the midfield, I mean, it looks like he's going to break that record. Absolutely. Most likely. Now let's take a very quick break. When we come back, more stories to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian Professional Football League has been absolutely buzzing. Now, the teams, it's not taking shape right now. The table, a team top this week and top the following week. That's why the league is the strongest in Africa. But there are some teams that have not been doing well so far. And Abia Warriors is in such category. And Heartland of Were has been firing hot and cold. We're not sure of what they want to do this season. But Kunle, what teams do you think are doing badly so far?
Firstly, I have to talk about what you said. You said about Nigerian league is the strongest in Africa. That's a good gesture. It's good because we are Nigerians. But if you look at the ranking from the Confederation of African Football, probably will be in the top. We're in the top 10. 12 or thereabouts. Some leagues are above us right now. The
Kenyan League.
The Kenyan League.
Come on.
The Algerian League.
No, Algerian League is like
those ones are
Algerian League.
How about the Sudanese League?
Let me tell you, Algerian League, Egyptian League, Moroccan League is as good as European League when Nigerian League is.
Yes, how about the Sudanese League? Seems like the Sudanese League is ranked above the Nigerian League right now. Even the Congo League is also ranked above the Nigerian Professional Football League. Yeah, let's come back to the question you just asked. The teams that are not doing well right now, you last week you mentioned Heartland of Were not doing well, but in match day 4 they got a win, and right now in match day 5 they lost again. That means
Heartland lost away from home, 3 goals to 1 to Rivers.
Yes, that makes them in 5 games they've won 1 and they've lost 4. That is absolutely bad for them. For Fidelis Ilechukwu, I think the management are still they believe so much in what is capable of doing right now. That is why the pressure is not coming for Abia Warriors. There's been so much pressure on Imama Amapakabo, and then after they lost, he lost the match day 4, making it 4 consecutive losses in 4 games, and they told him, look, you have to begin to win. They gave him a 3-match ultimatum. And you know what? How it is in Nigerian Professional Football League. Once you are given an ultimatum and you don't live up to billing,
they slash you.
And they slash your salary. You get the put. In the game against FC Fanyuba in the match day 5, after the ultimatum, he got a draw away from home. Probably that is a good, a good one, a good result for him.
He's played 5 games. One draw,
lost 4, which is really very bad. Well, that's the draw he got is away from home, which for me is encouraging. Probably in subsequent games he will be able to notch up win. But so far so good. It's been very, very good. Everything has been working out perfectly. The officials have been on top of their game, talking about the referees, and we've not heard any cases of whatsoever the officials encroaching the pitch.
But I think the closed door policy is working. The COVID-19.
Even Brownson, when we have the spectators on the field, you see some of the officials encroaching once the result doesn't favor them. But this time around, I think everyone has been orientated. It is expedient for the officials not to encroach the pitch or not to argue with the decisions of the referees. You have other channels which you can actually table your protest or your displeasure. So for me, it has been working out perfectly. Match day 5 in the NPFL, so far so good. So far so good, and Jigawa Golden Stars also have not been doing very well so far. But it's still early days. 5 games gone. This weekend we'll be seeing game week 6, and it's going to be another chance for teams to slug it out for an all-important 3 points. Otherwise, I mean, we understand the lowest 3 teams will
will be relegated to the National League. Now, away from the home front, let's take you straight to what's happening. Don't forget that Australian Open usually is the first Grand Slam of the year and it comes up in January. But the 2021 situation has been very peculiar, no thanks to the coronavirus pandemic which has ravaged the world. Now, of course, in the early part of last week, there was a story of about 4 players being quarantined. At this point, last weekend, news has it that over 72 players has been put on special place to be quarantined for another 14 days. Now that means the tournament will be starting in 3 weeks' time. Now, Kunle, this is sad because there are some players who, of course, didn't test positive to the COVID-19 and they are training on the pitch. Now, you also have players who have been quarantined. You understand safety measures has to be taken, who are training inside their room. Would there be a level playing field in that kind of situation?
I'm just wondering. I think it hasn't been it's been absolutely unpleasant as far as the preparation for the the first Grand Slam of the year is concerned. It hasn't been pleasant at all. And then, we at the point in time, we had about 2 days ago, we had about just 24 players and officials have tested positive and they are being quarantined. And then all of a sudden, some players were flying in from another
and
nation.
Then they said someone tested, one person tested positive, and they quarantined everyone in the plane.
It's important. That is the way to go. Probably if the player or the official has probably touched somebody, the person, the soldier has also touched someone. So it is just for security to be very, very sure. That is why every one of them are being quarantined. So I'm not surprised. But I think at this time, where we're going to be having probably the Australian Open start at this
in February.
In February, I think they really have to take the part of caution. It is very, very important. They should not be double standard. Anyone that tests positive must be quarantined and
treated.
And even if the players test positive, the top players, and then the date of the Australian Open they start must see the light of the day. Probably if we have to delay and all of that, we remember that we're going to be having the second Grand Slam in a couple of probably in a month or two or thereabouts. So they really need to trade the part of caution. If it will entail the Australian Open not seeing the light of the day, I think the safety safety is much more important.
Football is a contact sport. NBA in US is ongoing, is a contact sport. Tennis is not a contact sport, so I don't think it should be a very big issue.
I think I fault the officials probably at the airports and those at the arrival airport, because before a player or an individual enters into a flight into another country, you will have done the COVID-19 test. Wasn't that the person didn't do the test before he boarded the plane? That is the question. Because they should have stopped those who have tested positive to COVID-19. So the one who tested positive was in the airline. In the plane with those who tested negative, and this really affected them. So these are some of the precautions that we really have to take.
Very well said, Kunle. We really hope that the Australian Open will go on as planned. And tennis is one of my favorite sports. I can't wait to see those players back playing tennis again. Now let's move away from that and tell you that a senior Greek sporting official has resigned following allegation of sexual abuse made by one of the country's top female Olympian. Now, Aristides Adamopoulos stepped down as vice president of the Hellenic Sailing Federation on Saturday, soon after the allegations were made. Now, Sofia Bakero said a member of HSF performed a lewd act after inviting her to his hotel room in 1998, Kunle, 23 years ago.
Since 1998, you couldn't come out to talk, you couldn't tell anybody, and she didn't have an evidence. And talking about the man who the Federation assistant who chewing the towel, I think he said this allegation has rubbed on the association, and it's very important that he is not the guilty person, but he has to step down because of the fact that he's going to rub.
Why don't we have this kind of people in Nigeria where they accuse your federation and you retire, you resign?
Even even when the allegation comes and you are proved has been proved beyond reasonable doubt, some of our the administrators will still be denying. They will still be proving innocence. Let's just leave that. And for the woman, I mean, this happened about 23 years ago, and you didn't come out at that time, and you're just coming now.
Yeah, maybe then she wasn't bold enough to talk about it, or she had some like psychological. Like she's been fighting with the trauma for years. She said
if she had probably spoken out, it could have affected her chances of participating in Sydney 2000. I think she participated in that Olympics. But after that, when you resigned, when you left the game, you could probably have told somebody what are the evidence that she has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this act wasn't carried out by mutual consent.
Anyway,
but of course, time will surely tell.
I'm sure she should have told people that would probably testify. And one of the easiest way to get these guys, to justice is if there are traces, like more people come out to say, okay, this guy has done this kind of things to me. Maybe that's would help.
Absolutely. We thought that this only happens in countries like Nigeria. I didn't know it also happens.
When it comes to sexual abuse, it's a global phenomenon. It's a global thing. It's not. It's not limited to race or color.
Nigeria, based on the testimony we hear from people.
No, I disagree. Sexual abuse is a global thing. Yes.
But in Nigeria, some of the athletes will not come out to tell anybody.
The difference is Nigerian athletes don't come out to talk.
Yeah,
so we want to use this platform to encourage Nigerian athletes. If you have been sexually abused in any way, please come out and talk, and you'll get your justice. Welcome back. Now with that, it's a wrap on Sport Pizza today. We hope you enjoyed every bit of it. Of course, I did, and I'll be back again next week with more package for you. Olakule Philip, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
It's always a pleasure, Brownson, to be here to talk sport, and we hope, just like you said, to be here again next week.
That's what it is. Definitely we'll be here to serve you all the 411 in sport. And to all our viewers, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen right now. On that note, stay safe. And if you must go out, please use your face mask. My name is Brownson. Enjoy your week.